My brother announced he'd propose at my birthday dinner. Mom called it perfect. I smiled and said go ahead. Then I made one call. When they arrived, the host said, "There's no reservation under any name." They say blood is thicker than water, but for years, my family had been slowly draining me dry. Then, one Sunday afternoon, my brother decided to steal my son's joy, announcing his engagement at my birthday dinner in my restaurant. That was the exact moment I realized I had to finally cut them off, not just for myself, but for my boy. I'll never forget it. We were at my parents' place, a week before my birthday, and the dining room was already buzzing. My mom had pulled out her prized tablecloth, the one that smelled faintly of mothballs and Thanksgiving gravy. My 10-year-old son, Noah, was perched on his tiptoes at the end of the table, his little hands carefully placing tea lights into an old ceramic holder. He looked so proud. "Just like the ones at your restaurant, Dad," he whispered, a huge smile on his face. For days, Noah had been talking nonstop about my birthday dinner at Oak and Ember, my flagship place. He'd meticulously designed tiny fake menus in his sketchbook, even picked out a special dessert he wanted Maya, our pastry chef, to make. This kid lives and breathes that restaurant, just like I used to. Then my mom clinked her glass with a spoon. "Everyone, listen. Mark has something to share." My brother, Mark, stood up, that goofy, practiced grin plastered on his face, the one he uses right before he asks for something big. His girlfriend, Katie, playfully squeezed his arm. He looked straight at me, his eyes gleaming. "So," he announced, loud enough that Noah froze, a box of matches still in his hand, "I'm proposing to Katie at your birthday dinner at Oak and Ember. Thought it would be perfect. Everyone's already there. Hope you don't mind." My mom actually squealed, hands flying to her chest, eyes wet. "It's perfect. Oh my gosh. We'll turn the whole night into an engagement party." "Andrew, that's fine, right? You don't need the spotlight." The table erupted. My sister immediately started chattering about flowers. My dad muttered something about, finally, some good news. Someone even joked about upgrading my birthday to something more important. Noah was still clutching those matches, staring at the candles he'd just lined up. His voice was a tiny whisper, barely audible over the din wait. "But it's Dad's birthday." My mother didn't even glance at him. "Sweetie, your dad's had lots of birthdays. Your uncle only proposes once." Everyone laughed. My throat tightened. Noah's shoulders slumped, his entire body deflating. He closed his precious sketchbook, the one with the meticulously drawn menu, and slid it off the table like he was hiding something shameful. Mark, oblivious, raised his glass toward me. "You're cool with it, right? Free food, nice wine, romantic setting. Win-win." All eyes snapped to me. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking beneath the table, but somehow, my voice came out steady. "Go for it," I said. My mom clapped. Katie giggled and kissed Mark's cheek. The conversation immediately veered to rings, photographers, and seating arrangements. Noah carefully blew out the unlit candles, a quiet sigh escaping him. "Maybe we don't need a cake," he murmured, like he was apologizing for even suggesting it. I ruffled his hair, forcing a smile, but inside, something profoundly shifted. Not snapped. Not yet. Just shifted. See, I'm Andrew, 41, and I live in Chicago. I own a small network of high-end restaurants. Oak and Ember is the crown jewel, but there's also a French bistro, a sushi place, and a steakhouse. I started as a line cook, busting my ass, working until my knees and back screamed. I built my first restaurant on loans and used equipment. Now I employ 120 people, and I spend more time with spreadsheets than sauté pans. I'm also a single dad. Noah lives with me during the week and is with his mom on alternating weekends. He's quiet, thoughtful, the kind of kid who asks the waiter how their day is going. He sketches constantly. Menus, buildings, weird little creature chefs. My office at Oak and Ember is wallpapered with his drawings. My family? Oh, they love the idea of what I do. They love telling their friends, my son owns restaurants. They love posting pictures from my dining rooms, tagging the location like it's a trophy. And they absolutely love the discounts. I've hosted my parents' anniversary dinners at cost for years. I catered my sister's entire wedding at a 70% discount and never even got a thank you card. When my dad retired early, I covered 3 months of their mortgage until his pension kicked in. When Mark and Katie wanted a nicer condo, I co-signed. When that wasn't enough, I'd send them $500 here, $1,000 there. It's not charity, my mom would say, it's family investing in family. Funny how that investment only ever seemed to flow one way. Noah, meanwhile, had always been an accessory in their version of my life. They forgot his birthday once, not the date, just the fact that it was happening. We showed up for Sunday dinner, and there was nothing. No card, no cake. My mom said she'd lost track of the days. The very next week, she threw a party for my niece's dog turning 1. At Thanksgiving, they did grandkids photos 3 times, and somehow Noah was in exactly one of them, the one my mother never posted. When he had a school art show last spring, he begged them to come. He'd painted a little city scene, a tiny restaurant on the corner with oak and amber on the awning. My mom said they were too tired. That same night, they drove 40 minutes to watch my nephew practice baseball. I kept telling myself they were just clueless, old-fashioned, bad with schedules. I kept bringing Noah, kept showing up, kept picking up checks at restaurants I owned when they forgot their wallets. I thought if I kept making it easy, eventually they'd see him. See us? The week before my birthday, Noah talked about the dinner nonstop. Will we sit at the chef's table? He asked, his legs swinging excitedly at the breakfast bar. Yeah, I said. I already blocked it. You can watch service. Maybe plate dessert with Maya. Maya, my pastry chef, lets him dust powdered sugar and place mint leaves when it's slow. She calls him Chef Noah, and he absolutely glows for an hour afterward. He even drew a little menu for my birthday. Starter, Dad's favorite salad, the one with the burnt lemon dressing. Main, steak, like at home but better. Dessert, chocolate torte with candles, 10 for me, 41 for you. Dad, that's a lot. He showed it to my mom after Mark's big announcement. She glanced at it. Ah, that's cute, she said, then pushed it aside to show Katie pictures of Pinterest-worthy engagement tablescapes. They want you to get a fancy cake with "Will you marry me" on it, my sister whispered to me in the kitchen while we scraped plates. Do they? I said, a dangerous edge in my voice. Don't be weird, she hissed. You know Mom's been dreaming of this. You can move your little birthday thing to another night. My little birthday thing. I thought about how many of their events I'd hosted. The golden anniversary with the live jazz trio. The time I closed an entire dining room for my cousin's graduation. The way my parents bragged that Andrew takes care of us. I thought about Noah's crushed face when my mom said my birthday didn't matter. They'd been punishing me in small ways ever since I stopped one thing. 2 years ago, I refused to put my parents on the payroll as consultants. My dad had this idea that I should pay them a monthly thank you stipend for raising a business owner. I'd said no. Not angrily, just firmly. I helped with bills sometimes, but I wasn't going to invent jobs. They didn't forgive that. They just got quieter with the digs, colder with Noah, and more entitled with the restaurant. So, when Mark turned my birthday dinner into his proposal stage, it wasn't just one selfish moment. It was the whole damn pattern, wearing an engagement ring. That night, after I tucked Noah into bed, I sat at my kitchen table, my laptop open, my restaurant management app loaded. I stared at the reservation. Oak and Amber, private chef's table, 14 guests. Andrew M., 7 p.m. I remembered Noah's whisper, just like the ones at your restaurant, Dad. I could have called my mom. I could have delivered a big speech, demanded they respect my kid, asked them nicely not to hijack the evening. Instead, I picked up my phone, called the restaurant, and asked for Lena, my general manager. Hey, boss, she said. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. My heart was pounding, but my voice stayed flat. Can you do something for me? The big chef's table reservation next Friday under my name. Cancel it. She paused. All of it? That's your birthday party, right? It was supposed to be, I said. Just cancel it. Mark it as cancelled by the booker. No special notes. If anyone calls, tell them we're fully booked and don't have anything under that name. Okay, she said slowly. She knows my family. She's watched them treat the staff like their personal servants. Do you want to rebook something smaller? I looked at Noah's sketchbook on the table, the little menu half hidden under his pencil. Yeah, I said. Put in a new reservation at Brine and Barrel for 3 people at 6. Chef's counter if it's free. Brine and Barrel is my smaller bistro by the lake. Less showy, more intimate. Noah loves to sit by the open kitchen and count how many times the pans flare up. Got it, she said. Anything else? Yeah, I said. One more thing. Flag my parents, my sister, and my brother's profiles. No more automatic comps. Full price. If they have a problem, they can talk to me. That was the second part of the same move. One clean cut. I watched the screen as the big party disappeared and a small one popped up at another location. There was no dramatic music, no thunder, just a confirmation email that simply said, "Reservation cancelled." I closed the laptop, turned off the kitchen light, and went to bed. I didn't send a single follow-up text. On the day of my birthday, Noah woke me up at 6 a.m. with burnt toast and coffee in a mug that said #1 chef. You're supposed to sleep in on your birthday, he said, climbing onto the bed with the tray. I smiled. Chefs don't sleep in. We spent the afternoon at the museum, just the two of us. He drew quick sketches of sculptures while I answered work emails between exhibits. At 4 o'clock, he tugged my sleeve. Are we still going to Oak and Ember? We're going to Brine and Barrel, I said. Smaller place, more fun. You can sit right by the grill. He hesitated. But Grandma said. I know what Grandma said. I crouched to his level. Kiddo, listen. Tonight is our night. Mine and yours. Uncle Mark can propose anytime he wants, anywhere he wants. But I'm not giving him your work or your menu. Okay? He chewed his lip, then nodded. Okay. Can I still help with dessert? Yes, I said. That part doesn't change. We got to Brine and Barrel a little before 6. The staff had quietly decorated the chef's counter with a few simple candles and a small chocolate torte Maya had sent over from Oak and Ember. My sous chef, Mateo, came out in his apron, tattoos peeking from his sleeves. Happy birthday, boss, he said, giving me a one-armed hug. Then he turned to Noah. You ready to play? I saved you a clean apron. Noah's whole face lit up. He followed Mateo into the kitchen like he was being invited backstage to the greatest show on earth. My phone buzzed in my pocket around 6:45. Mom, we're here. Where are you? I turned my screen face down and watched Mateo show Noah how to smear sauce on a plate. At 7:02, the screen flashed again. Mom, Andrew, the host says there's no reservation under your name or any name. What is going on then? They're telling us they're fully booked. Your father is furious. Mark is embarrassed. This is childish, a minute later, my dad, Dad, did you mess up the booking? Fix this now. We have 14 people standing in the lobby, 30 seconds after that, my sister, what did you do? Katie is crying in the bathroom. Mom says you cancelled. Tell me she's lying, I took a sip of wine. Everything okay? Mateo asked quietly, sliding a perfectly plated dish in front of me. Yeah, I said. Everything's finally matching how it's supposed to be. Noah came back, hands smelling like herbs and butter, apron comically too big. Did I do it right? He asked, pointing at the dessert he'd helped plate. The chocolate torte was a little crooked, but the candles were perfectly spaced. 10 on one side, one big one in the middle. Looks perfect, I said. My phone buzzed again, vibrating across the counter this time. Mom, asterisk answer your phone. This is not funny, asterisk. I picked it up and typed one message into the family group chat. Me, asterisk, you told me my birthday didn't matter. You turned it into an engagement party without asking. I decided not to host it, asterisk 3 dots. Mom, asterisk, you are ruining a huge moment for your brother. How could you be so vindictive, asterisk dad, asterisk you think you're better than us because you own some restaurants. We look like idiots in there, asterisk Mark, asterisk dude, are you serious? I told Katie we had this big fancy proposal planned and you just canceled without telling me, asterisk. I stared at Mark's message for a second. Then I opened a new chat, just with him. Me, asterisk, you didn't ask. You announced at my parents' table in front of my kid. You watched them erase my birthday and didn't blink. I'm not paying for that, asterisk 3 dots again. Mark, asterisk, it was one night. You get free food anytime. Why are you making this a huge deal? Noah won't even remember, asterisk. I looked at Noah, carefully adjusting a raspberry on another plate, his tongue poking from the corner of his mouth in concentration. Yeah, he'd remember. I typed back. Me, asterisk, I won't fund a family that treats my son like an extra and my life like a venue. You can propose anywhere. You just can't do it on my dime while my kid watches them push him aside at asterisk. No response. The typing dots flashed and disappeared. Flashed and disappeared. My mom called twice. I let it go to voicemail. The host at Oak and Amber texted Lena separately, apparently. Host, asterisk, your dad yelled at me. Said, my son owns this place. Wanted us to kick paying guests out. We didn't obviously, asterisk. Lena forwarded it to me with one line. Lena, happy birthday. Mateo topped off my glass. You want us to bring out the cake? I nodded. Yeah, bring it. We sang quietly. Noah insisted I make a wish twice, just in case. He gave me a folded piece of paper. Inside was a new menu he'd drawn just for tonight. Starter, any snack dad likes. Main, whatever chef feels like. Dessert, chocolate torte with just enough candles. At the bottom, in small letters, thank you for being my dad and not everyone's wallet. My eyes stung. I cleared my throat and blinked hard. Where do you want to put it? Noah asked. In my office, I said. Right where I can see it every day. The fallout kicked in before dessert plates were cleared at Brine and Barrel. By the time we got home, my call log was a wall of missed calls. 7 from Mom, 4 from Dad, 3 from my sister, 2 from Mark, 1 unknown. I put my phone on the kitchen counter and made Noah a hot chocolate. Do Grandma and Grandpa hate you now? He asked, staring at the marshmallows. I took a breath. They're upset, I said. People don't like it when you stop doing what makes their lives easier. Did we do something wrong? He asked. No, I said. We just stopped pretending something was fine when it wasn't. He nodded like he was filing that away somewhere and went to change into pajamas. When he was in bed, reading with his little booklight, I finally listened to a voicemail. My mom's voice was shrill, brittle around the edges. I cannot believe you would humiliate us like that, she said. We were standing there like fools. Your father had to pay for a last-minute table at that chain place down the street. Do you know how that looked? After all we've done for you. After all you could have done for your brother. Katie's parents were there, Andrew. We looked poor. There it was. The real sin. Not that I'd canceled. That I'd forced them to live like regular people for an evening. I deleted it. Mark's voicemail was worse in a different way. Man, I don't even know what to say, he started. Katie's devastated. She thinks you hate her. I told her you were just stressed from work. Could you at least apologize to her? You could have just told us no. You didn't have to play games. Games, right? My sister texted me a photo of Katie's tear-streaked face in some generic restaurant, a ring box on the table next to a plate of limp pasta. Sister, asterisk, hope you're happy. This was supposed to be special, asterisk I didn't answer. Instead, I sent one final text in the family chat. Me, asterisk going forward, you'll need to book my restaurants like everyone else. No more automatic tables. No more put it on Andrew's tab. If you can't treat my son like family, you don't get the perks that come with being mine. And asterisk I put my phone on do not disturb and went to bed. The next morning, my dad showed up at my apartment. No warning, just 3 heavy knocks that rattled the hallway. Noah was halfway through his cereal and froze when he heard the sound. "Stay here," I said. "I'll handle it." I opened the door only as far as the chain would allow. My dad stood there in his good coat, hair not brushed, eyes bloodshot. "We need to talk," he said. "I'm getting Noah ready for school," I said. "Now isn't a good time." He put his hand on the door, testing the chain like he might just rip it off. "What you did last night was cruel." "What I did was cancel a reservation I made with my own business," I said. I didn't scream at a host making minimum wage. I didn't shove my priorities onto everyone else. "You embarrassed your mother," he snapped. "You embarrassed your brother. Do you know what it was like standing there being told, we have no reservation under any name?" People were staring. "Yeah," I said. "I do know what it's like to be told you're not on the list." Noah knows too. He frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, "I watched you all erase my kid's excitement like it was nothing. I listened to Mom say my birthday didn't matter in front of him. That your other kids' milestones were more important." That was my line. He actually scoffed. "You're making this about a child's feelings? He'll get over it." "No," I said. "He won't. And I won't teach him that letting people walk all over him is the price of being family." He leaned closer. "After everything we've done for you?" I laughed. It wasn't nice. It just came out. "Dad," I said, "you haven't paid for a meal in one of my restaurants in 5 years. I covered your mortgage when you retired. I co-signed Mark's condo. I catered Lauren's wedding at a loss. The only thing you've done for me in the last decade is show up hungry." His jaw tightened. "So that's it," he said. "You cut us off because we hurt your feelings? You going to cut checks for strangers instead?" "I'm not your backup bank," I said, my voice flat. "And I'm not your events planner. You're off my accounts. That's all." He stared at me for a second, like he was waiting for me to flinch to take it back. I didn't. He finally stepped back. "This is your wife's influence," he muttered. "You were never like this before." "I've been divorced for 3 years," I said. He blinked like he'd forgotten. "Right," he said. "Well, don't come crawling back when you need us." "I won't," I said, and closed the door. Noah was standing in the hallway, cereal bowl in his hands. "Was Grandpa mad?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "But that's not our problem." He nodded slowly. "Are we still going to your restaurant sometimes?" "We'll go more," I said. "With people who are happy just to be there." It's been 6 months. I haven't seen my parents since that morning at my front door. Lauren, my sister, texts occasionally with neutral things, pictures of her kids, memes about coffee. She never mentions that night. Never asks about free tables. She books through the reservation app now, like everyone else. Sometimes, I quietly comp a dessert for her kids. They always say thank you. Mark didn't speak to me at all until last month when he sent a screenshot of his rent notice. "Mark, asterisk any chance you can help?" Katie's hours got cut, asterisk I stared at it for a long time, remembering his voice on the phone. Noah won't even remember. Then I typed 2 words. "Me, I can't," he replied once. Wow, I haven't heard from him again. My mom tried a guilt trip text a few weeks after my birthday. "Mom, asterisk we miss you. Family is more important than pride. You know that, right?" Asterisk I typed and deleted responses 3 times before settling on me. Asterisk family is important. That's why I'm protecting my son, asterisk she didn't reply. Oak and Ember is doing fine, better than fine. Without my family's comp tabs, the monthly reports look cleaner. My staff seems more relaxed, not having to tiptoe around the owner's parents, who treated them like background furniture. On my office wall, right above my desk, Noah's birthday menu is pinned with a thumbtack. The one that says, "Thank you for being my dad and not everyone's wallet." We started a new tradition this year. Instead of trying to wedge ourselves into whatever my parents are doing for holidays, I close Brine and Beryl early one Sunday in December. Staff can bring their kids if they want. We push tables together, eat a family meal, and let the little ones decorate sugar cookies. This last one, my Aunt Teresa showed up with a pan of lasagna and a hug that lasted a little too long.